Hi friends, today we are going to discuss about demand and demand curve. So what is demand? So demand is the quantity that consumers are willing and able to purchase at various prices during a given period of time. So what is demand curve? The demand curve is the relationship between price and quantity demanded. So let us look at this with an example. Let's take x-axis and y-axis, which shows x-axis is the price, or let's take x-axis as quantity and y-axis as price, and let's say the price ranging from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 rupees, and the quantity demanded, let's take 5, 10, 20, 30, 40. So let's say the demand curve is looking like this. So what happens now is when the price is 10 rupees, what is the demand of the quantity? It's around 20. So let's put the numbers here, price and quantity. Let's say when the price is 10, quantity is demanded is 20. Let's say the supplier is increasing the price because the demand is more, he doesn't have stock and he is trying to increase the price. So if you increase the price to, let's say 20, then what happens to the quantity demanded? People will buy less. So now the price is increased to 20 and the quantity demanded is 10. And if you further increase the price, let's say you are increasing the price to 50 rupees. So what happens to the demand? It is further reducing. So if the price is 50, quantity demanded is 5. So what is happening here, if you observe, if the price is increasing, quantity demanded is reducing. So there is a direct relationship between price and quantity. So this is the demand curve all about. So let's see what are the parameters that actually shifts the market demand. So one is obviously we learned here, that is price. So what are the other parameters? Let's say income of the population has increased, then the ability or willingness of the customers to buy more quantity will also increase. So let's say you take a bakery. If the taste of your items are good, then the demand will increase. Let's say the geography that you are having business has more population than other geography, then obviously the quantity demanded is more than the other geography here. And let's say your future expected price is going to increase based on the market research firms like Nielsen used to give market research. So if they say that the expected future prices are going to increase, so then the demand will increase now itself because people want to buy now itself. So this is expected future price through market research. So these are the various parameters that shifts the market demand. So this is all about demand and demand curve. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe, and press bell icon if you want to look at my latest videos. Thank you, and leave comments in your comment section if you are expecting any specific videos on any topics. I will be able to add. Thanks a lot. Hi friends, today we are going to discuss about elasticity of demand. So we will look at some formula, so don't worry, I will explain you very easily. So what is this elasticity of demand? So the elasticity of demand equal to change in the quantity demanded divided by change in the price. So let us take an example to understand this. For example, if the oil price increased by 10% and demand is decreased by 5%. So now what happens to the elasticity of demand is percentage change in the demand is 5% divided by percentage change in the price is 10%. It should be with the minus. So the value will be 0.5. So it is minus, but always in absolute terms if you take, it is 0.5. So this is the elasticity of the demand. So now let us look at three parameters here. So one is elastic demand, and second is inelastic demand, and third is unit elastic demand. So let us understand what is this elastic demand. So we'll take an example and see this. So this is the demand curve. This is price and this is quantity demanded, and this is the demand curve. So now you take an example of insulin. So what happens, let's say the insulin price is around 50 rupees and the quantity demand is, let's say, 30. Now if the insulin price is increased to, let's say, 70 rupees, do you think the quantity will reduce? It will not, because you do not have any substitute for insulin. So the demand will still remain at 30. So even after increasing the price. The reason is because there is no substitute. So when there is no substitute, the demand is not impacting too much. Maybe it will reduce to little bit. Otherwise it doesn't reduce in this particular case, because you will die if you don't take insulin. So in this case, this is called inelastic demand. So why you are calling inelastic demand? Because there is no much substitutes available in the market. Okay, and always when you calculate the percentage elasticity of demand, for inelastic the value will be less than 1. So now let us look at elastic demand. Take an example of Nescafe coffee. So if you take Nescafe coffee, let's say the price increased to same 70 rupees, then what happens to the demand? In earlier case the demand was constant, there is no change, because insulin there is no substitute. But now for the coffee, Nescafe coffee, you have lot of other substitutes available in the market where you can go and buy some other brand. So what happens to the demand for Nescafe now? Since you have alternate solution, people will go and buy alternates rather than buying Nescafe coffee, because the prices increase too much. So the demand may reduce drastically low. So very few customers will buy the Nescafe coffee at this price. Maybe the quantity is only 5. So there is too much of change in the demand here, because you have lot of substitutes available in the market. So this is called elastic demand. So for elastic demand, the value will be always greater than 1. So now what is unit elastic demand? So when both change in the quantity demanded is equal to change in the percentage of price is called unit elastic. So friends, this is about elasticity of demand. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe, and press bell icon if you want to watch my latest videos. Thank you. So hi friends, today we are going to discuss about supply and supply curve. So what is supply? So the amount of goods or services that a firm is willing and able to supply at a given price. This is called supply. So what is supply curve? So supply curve shows the relationship between price of the product and the quantity of the product supplied. So generally, what is the law of supply? How it looks? So general law of supply is, if you hold everything else constant, generally the increase in price causes increase in the quantity supplied. So let us take an example and see how it works. So for example, if we take oil supply, so let's check with an example of a graph. This is the supply curve. So I am just taking an example of oil supply here. So let's say at the rate of $5 per barrel, the quantity supplied may be around 20 million barrels per day. Let's say if the price is increasing to $10, then the quantity supplied will also increase, let's say, to 40 million barrels. If the price further goes high, let's say it is going up to $30 per barrel, then the quantity supplied also increases to, let's say, around 60 million barrels per day. So why is this happening like this? So if you look at this oil supply, if you take Saudi Arabia, where they supply oil, the price that they can fix it is lesser because their cost of producing this oil is less. So they can supply oil even at the $5 per barrel cost. But if you take, for example, US, the cost of producing oil is high because they have to dig deeper to get oil. So they cannot produce and sell oil at $5, but they can do when the price increases to $10 because they can make profits if it is at $10. If you take Gulf course, so Gulf course cost of producing is further high. So they will produce only when the price is further high. Let's say if the price is around $30 per barrel, they will start producing it because they have to further dig deep to produce oil where they can make profits. So this is the reason why the supply is controlled in those locations with respect to the price. So now let us look at what are the variables that shift supply. So one is obviously you have seen that is price, and second is technological change. So if there is any change in the technology, you have easy methods to produce, then obviously you will supply more. Or let's say the expected future prices. If expected future prices are going to increase or decrease, that impacts your supply. Or let's say you have more number of firms available in market, so obviously you will get more supply. So this is all about supply and supply curve. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe, and leave your comments in comment section. Thank you. So hi friends, today we are going to discuss about equilibrium price and quantity. So if you go back to 2002, Vernon Smith was awarded Nobel Prize in Economics, so who tested the supply and demand model to disprove this equilibrium, but shocked with the results. So let's see what is this equilibrium point. See, the point where the quantity that consumers are willing to buy equals the quantity firms are willing to sell is the point of market equilibrium. So let us draw this and see how it looks. So this is, let's say, demand curve, and this is supply curve. So here this point is called equilibrium point. So why we are calling this as equilibrium point, we will look at it shortly. So what is the equilibrium price? So if this is the price and this is the quantity, so this point is called equilibrium price and this point is called equilibrium quantity. So why we are calling this as equilibrium price and why this is equilibrium quantity? So we just discussed about equilibrium point, so which is nothing but equilibrium price equal to equilibrium quantity. So this is we are calling as equilibrium price. So now let's take an example. So this equilibrium price is, let's say, 20 rupees and the quantity supplied at this price is, let's say, 30. So 20 is the equilibrium price and 30 is the equilibrium quantity. So now let's say the equilibrium price is increased to 40. So now let us look at this demand curve and supply curve, how they look. So now what is happening here, if you draw the line, so the demand has reduced, right? So now the demand is, let's say, 20. But here the quantity supplied is 50. Now what happens? The seller has more quantity, that is 50, but the demand is only 20. So his inventory cost will increase. He wants to sell the goods as quickly as possible. So what he will do, he will reduce the price to meet the demand. So now what happens? The price will come down to the place where it meets the demand. So again it will come back to the equilibrium point. Let's take another example of price is reduced to, let's say, 15. So now let's look at the graph, what happens to this. So now this point is quantity supplied and this point is quantity demanded. So now what is the quantity demanded? Let's say 40. And what is the quantity supplied? Is around 30. So now what happens? Supply is less but demand is more. So what happens is now the buyers are willing to pay extra price to get the more goods, and the seller is also will try to increase the price as the supply is less to meet the demand. So now again this will go and touch to the equilibrium point. So this is all about equilibrium and equilibrium quantity and price. So we learned about equilibrium, equilibrium quantity, equilibrium price. So what is equilibrium? Equilibrium is equilibrium quantity equal to equilibrium price. This is the equilibrium point, market equilibrium point. So this is all about equilibrium. So thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe. Press bell icon if you want to watch my latest videos. Thanks for watching.